Hello my loves, welcome back or welcome to my channel if you are new. I've purchased probably 40 to 50 books since the last time we did a book haul about 2 months ago. So not only today do we have a huge book haul to get through, but we will also be doing some bookshelf building and some organization of my shelves because I definitely don't have enough space for these books. I was already spilling out of the bookshelf that I had downstairs. I even went as far as I had books on my lamps, I had books at my bedside table, so it was already kind of overfilled and I knew we were going to get to this point anyway. I'm really ready to have my new shows and all of my new books, and I'm super excited about a lot of the books in this pile. So let's just get through it because we do have a lot planned for this video and I don't want to make this video too long. First book up, we have When the Moon Hatched, which is the first book in the Moonfall series. This book is exponentially large. I mean, it's only 690 pages, but it's shorter, so it's super thick and it makes it way more intimidating. I'm not really in a rush to finish this book because I know the second book isn't supposed to be coming out until 2025, and then that's only the second book, and I don't like getting hooked into a fantasy series if I can't keep going, because fantasy series love to end off on cliffhangers and I don't like being left on a cliffhanger. I like to be able to pick up the book immediately after I learned what it is. If this ends on a cliffhanger and I have to wait till 2025 to continue it, I'm gonna be thoroughly upset. Next book is Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. This is like the one that got away kind of situation, and it tells the point of view from then and now. We're watching them fall in love and we're watching them reconnect after years and years down the road, and she's like married or supposed to be married or something like that. I don't really remember, but I'm actually really excited to get to this book. I will be buddy reading this. Next 3 books are part of a series, and that is the Good Girl's Guide to Murder trilogy. I have actually read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I believe I rated this book either a 3 or 4 star. I want to say a 4 star. I really enjoyed it, and then I went ahead and picked up the rest of the trilogy. Next book I got is Six of Crows. This is the same author that wrote the Shadow and Bone trilogy. I've actually never read either series, but I am excited to get to both. I picked up the first book in Six of Crows because I think I want to start with Six of Crows. Next 2 books I got were part of a blind date with a book. The Guinevere Deception. I actually did just recently pick this book up. I haven't really gotten into it. The second book, Strange the Dreamer, I also don't know what this is because I haven't started it, and again, it is a blind date with a book. I think they're both YA and they both have romance. I don't really know much more about it though. Next book I got is Vicious, which is the first book in the Sinners of Saint series. It's a series of interconnected dark romance standalones. This one is a enemies to lovers story with these really pretty sprayed edges that I mean I kind of saw the edges before I saw the book, I'm not gonna lie. Bought it because of that. Next book I got is The Bone Witch. I have no idea what this book is about. It just looked really nice. I don't know, it looks like something I'd really be interested in, but I've never heard anything about it. It was kind of an impulse buy at Barnes & Noble. I saw it just like it was falling off the bottom of the shelf and I almost tripped over it, so I picked it up and I was like, oh sure, why not, I guess. And here we are. But I actually am excited to read this. I don't really know what it's about, but like looking at it, it really looks like something that's my type of book. Next book I got is the first book in the Eden series, and that is Indigo Ridge. This copy I found on the Barnes & Noble shelf, and there was actually this cute little note inside my book. Dear reader, the adorable stickers were left for you by a fellow book lover. When you buy this book, they are yours to keep and enjoy. Whether you've already read these stories or you have yet to meet this charming fictional family, I'm so grateful that you're here. Happy reading. So this is super cute. I've got some cute little stickers there, and I found this in the inside of the book when I opened it up. I thought that was so cute. This one is a small town enemies to lovers story, and I love enemies to lovers. I don't know, it's just something about the enemies I just love when they become lovers. Next book I got is Legendborn. I'm actually currently reading this on audio as I'm filming this, and I'm really early in the book, but so far it is so good. It's not just a fantasy story, but it's also a fantasy story about real stuff going on. There's police brutality touched on it, there's racism. It's just so it's almost giving me that 5-star feeling. I love the fact that this book is capable of making me feel something outside of just reading what I'm reading. It's not just a fantasy book. The next 3 books are all from the same series, and that is Killer Instinct, Bad Blood, and All In from the Naturals series. I read the Naturals. I believe I read the Naturals in like May, I want to say, and then I just recently read Killer Instinct this month. Actually, you'll see it in my wrap up later. And then these 2 books I went and just picked up to go with it. The series is kind of like Criminal Minds but YA. The Naturals was so good, and so was Killer Instinct. I read both of them in one day, so I'm super excited to not only continue but finish this series really soon. Next book I have also started, and that is The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Polston. I started this book, but I wasn't really feeling it at the moment, so I did end up putting it back down. So she's living in the future, but her apartment acts as kind of a time capsule, and sometimes she travels 7 years back in the past when this guy is living in that same apartment, and they are kind of meeting each other, her 7 years in the future and him 7 years in the past. I originally saw this book from Destiny Sitwell's YouTube channel, and I love a lot of the books she recommends, and she does recommend this book, so I feel like I am going to also love this. I don't know, I don't think it was the right time for me at the time, so I'll have to come back to this for sure. Next book I got is one that I have already read, and that is Bride by Ellie Hazelwood. I rated this book a 5 stars. It wasn't necessarily the writing was just oh so good, oh so intricate, or anything like that, which it was, don't get me wrong, but there was just nothing taking me from this book. I binged this book in one sitting. I was just so intrigued, so wrapped up in the book, and then even after the book was over, I could not stop thinking about it. And honestly, that gives me 5 stars. If I literally cannot stop reading this book, if I literally cannot take my eyes off the page, it is good enough for me, okay? I don't know. The next 2 books I got are Love Redesigned and The Fine Print, which are both by Lauren Asher. These are the first 2 books in 2 of her series. Next book I got is Wild Love by Elsie Silver. I actually bought this when it first came out. I have never read an Elsie Silver book. I'm just collecting them like the Infinity Stones and just not starting them. I don't know I need to get to this series. I need to get to Elsie Silver in general. I need to stop putting it off. Next book I got is the first book in the Magnolia Parks series. I've heard this series is kind of like Gossip Girl. I started this book as soon as I got home from buying it, and then I kind of forgot that I started it until I was pulling it back off of my shelf for this haul. Book I got is Their Vicious Games. I don't really remember what this was about or why I picked it up, but I'm assuming it's because this cover is literally gorgeous. Please get into this cover. It's a moment. The next 2 books are Twilight and New Moon, the first 2 books in the Twilight Saga. I have never read the Twilight Saga, so I'm actually reading these for the first time. I have read Twilight. I am doing a full spoiler vlog on the entire series. Expect that video to be out around July. Next book I got is Happy Place by Emily Henry. I have never read an Emily Henry book. I'm also collecting her books like The Infinity Stones, and eventually I will get to her as well. The next 3 books I picked up are the Part of Your World trilogy. This is a group of standalone series. I had got this one just for the summer because it's literally everywhere right now. It's an anticipated read for a lot of people, and I was really excited to read it, so I bought it thinking that this was the first book in the series. And then I watched a wrap-up, and someone told me that this story just doesn't hit as hard until you read the first 2 books in the standalone trilogy. So then I went back and got these 2. So now I have the full series, even though I've never read a single Abby Jimenez book. I'm also collecting her Infinity Stones. Next book I got is another book that I've already read, and that is Does It Hurt by H.D. Carlton. I rated this a 5 stars back when I first read it last year. I really loved it. Super bingeable. I wasn't expecting the thriller aspect of it, the mystery aspect of it. So when I was reading it at the time, I was going into it thinking that this was just a regular dark romance, and once it started happening, I literally was having heart palpitations reading this book. This book was so good, chef's kiss. I wanted to do a reread, but I wanted to be able to read the physical copy. I don't really like how the cover feels, like this like texture. I wish you could feel it, but the texture of the cover I don't love, but I did love the book and I wanted the physical copy on my shelf. The next 2 books are both by Stephanie Garber, and that is The Ballad of Never After and Carnival. I have actually finished the entire Once Upon a Broken Heart series. That will be in my May wrap up video. I had already gotten Once Upon a Broken Heart. I went to go pick up The Ballad of Never After, and I wanted to pick up the entire series, but unfortunately The Curse for True Love is only in hardback right now, and I don't like having mismatched copies on my shelf, so I would just wait to pick that up. And then I also picked up book 1 of Carnival because I love Once Upon a Broken Heart so much. I wanted to get into Carnival, but I feel like I was supposed to read Carnival first, because in here there's an excerpt at the end where the author annotates the last chapter. In one of the annotations, there's a mention that one of the main characters is actually in this series. This is supposed to be before this, I think. I don't know. I actually don't know, but I'm still gonna read it. I don't care. It was amazing either way. Next book I got is Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute. I believe this is a rekindling romance. Ex-best friends to lovers, I think. The next 5 books I got are the Boys of Tommen series. I have actually not started this series yet, but I still went and picked up every single book because I just know I'm gonna love it, because everyone and their mother and their grandmother and their grandmother's uncles love this series. I don't see why I wouldn't. These books are kind of thick. I also don't love that all of these books are so pretty and so ombre, and then Finding 13 is... That can't be on purpose, right? That can't be on purpose, right? We're almost done with this portion of the video. I'm getting tired of talking. Next 2 books I got are Scarred and Twisted. These are the only 2 books in the Never After series that I did not have, and these are also the only 2 that I have not read, because I actually read 2 more also in this month, which will also be in my May wrap up. This one is Aladdin dark romance retelling, and this one is a Scar from Lion King dark romance retelling, or not retelling, reimagining. There's also Wretched, which is Wicked Witch of the West. There is Hooked, which is Hook, and there is Cross, which is Hunchback of Notre Dame. Next 2 books I got are King of Greed and the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition of Kings of Sloth. I read King of Wrath, King of Pride, and I also read Twisted Love and Twisted Games. This book follows a broken marriage. She's like threatening divorce and he's trying to win her back. And then this one is he's had everything but he can't have her. Next book I got is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I'm probably the only person on this planet who has not read this book, so I'm gonna change that pretty soon. Next book I got is First Lie Wins. I don't know what this book is about. I don't care to know. I am the type of person who go into a thriller confused. I don't want to know a single thing about a thriller book or a mystery book. I just want to read the pages and find out myself. Don't tell me what it's about. I'll see. Last book is None of This Is True. I have actually read this since I bought this. This will also be in my May wrap up. I don't remember liking it. More information to come on this in my wrap up, but I don't remember particularly caring for this book, and I don't think it's something that I'm going to prioritize on my pretty bookshelves. But I feel like this is the kind of mystery thriller that I would reread, only because I want to go back and see all of the bullshit myself. I want to see if now that I know what I know, I can go back and point out everything that I'm like, okay. You know? That would be fun. So that wraps up this portion of the video. At the time that I'm filming this, I have already built the shelves and started redoing my bookshelves, but then I realized that I did not have nearly enough shelf space for how many books that I currently own. I don't really know how I'm gonna split. I have one bookshelf upstairs in the game room and then a bookshelf that's downstairs. I don't really know how I'm gonna split up books between the 2 shelves. I'm thinking maybe the bookshelf upstairs can be books that I've already read, and the bookshelf downstairs can be books that I have not read. So we'll get to that. So we've enlisted help doing his husbandly duties. So we're gonna get this done. Okay, so the shelf. Now we're gonna bring all of the books from downstairs upstairs. One full stuff to the brim tote, my Sarah J. Maas stack, and then a couple books. In this tote, I have all of the books that I have yet to read, and then over here I have all of the books that I have read, plus the books that are part of series that I've already started. For example, I've read Twilight, but I haven't read New Moon. I'm gonna be putting New Moon with the books that I have read, even though I haven't technically read it, because the series will be upstairs. These books will be going downstairs and the rectangular bookshelf that we all know and love, and then these books will be staying up here, filling this guy out. That's the plan. I think it's best if we just jump into it. For my future Curse for True Love paperback copy. All right, let's do a little bit of a close-up of here. We got our Harry Potter shelf. Moving down a little bit, I have the Massiverse. The only books that aren't here are the Crescent City books. They will be downstairs because I have not started Crescent City, and I'm also missing the first book of ACOTAR, but my sister is currently borrowing that. Here, we've got our YA section along with a little bit of fantasy, and this kind of just went here because it fit. Moving on down, we've got, let's get our Black Queen on display here. Got our copy of Legendborn. I'm actually currently reading this, but it is literally already giving me the 5-star feeling, and I'm not even done with it. Moving over, we've got our copy of Does It Hurt, a little bit more dark romance, and finishing dark romance here. The only copy I am missing is Hooked. My sister is also borrowing that. Here, we've got all of our Anna Huang, our TBR jar, and then some of the books that are more out of my comfort zone that I do plan on reading and I do want to read. Down at the very bottom, we just have the books that we're unhauling. So this is her in all her glory. Do we love her? Tell me you love her. I love her. So honestly, if you don't, I don't think I care. Okay, my loves, it is the next day. So I have a total of 109 books in between both bookshelves. In this tote, I have about 50 or 60, I want to say. I'm just gonna start putting books on shelves, honestly, and try to fill it up. I'm gonna leave this cubby open for my physical monthly TBR, and then we'll fill these up regularly. At least that's the plan. I don't know, let's see. Because just talking about it is going to make me overwhelmed, and I have to be at work in an hour and a half. So I don't have all day, literally. So we've got an empty caddy here for my monthly TBR once we pick that out. Moving over, we have some Abby Jimenez, Emily Henry, and just continuing on with romance. I finished romance down here in this caddy. There's a little bit spilling down even more. Here I start my fantasy section, continue it on down here, and finish it up even just some ones that didn't fit. Okay, we have officially finished setting up our TBR shelf. These are all the books that I own that I have not gotten to. It'll also be a lot easier for me to come downstairs, look at this bookshelf, and be able to pick out a book that I want to read rather than trying to figure out which books on which shelf I haven't read. Alrighty, my loves, thank you so much for watching. This was a lot of fun. I had a lot of books that we hadn't gotten to. I'm happy to have this new bookshelf and have the books that I've read on display up here and the books that I have not read on display downstairs. This was fun. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope I see you guys soon. Bye.